for the Nano Tempest project at Tel Aviv University. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Scott, for your kind introduction. I will also thank two organizers, and namely Beat, for inviting me also this year to take part in this important panel. I don't have any slides, so you can switch off the beamer. I need to give some explanation why a guy like me that works on IT and learning technology won't use slides at the moment. This is because I held a few talks with some colleagues recently, and they were complaining that we are doing very extensive use of PowerPoint presentations, even where it is not really essential. In summit like this, when people presenting cutting-edge knowledge technology, they have many pictures, visual content, it's absolutely mandatory to have a PowerPoint presentation. But today I'm going to give a very light overview of technology, education, social media, academia, interaction. And I see that I have many text, and I don't want to put a lot of text in slides that I'm going to read anyway. And I don't want to split your attention with putting slides and trying to read the slides. Okay, I would like to start with the invention of technology in our daily life. And I use this term because this is really what I'm feeling. No matter what to do today, you want to go to vacation, you need to book your flight, your hotel on the internet, you want to rent a car, you do it online. You need some literacy for this. I can say for last year or so, I went to Paris, I rented a car, and I want to put my destination to the multimedia system of the new car, and the car starts speaking to me in French, and I had a problem. Even as an experienced computer interfaces user, it took me 10 minutes to make the car talk to me in English. It wasn't an easy task. But let's keep the smart TV, smartphone, and all smart home, smart things that, Internet of Things that getting even smarter than us. Let's talk about the work. I mean, for, let's say, researchers, developers, it is now obvious that they need to learn most of their time, and they are already lifelong learners. But not only the researchers and academia. Also, for example, mechanic in a garage. Today need to work with the new software and computer as much as the classical tools for repairing the car. And if you even consider the secretary in a law office, how many operating systems, programs, new printing machines that he or she need to learn on daily basis. Or if you are a worker in a bank as a cashier, in the best scenario, you will need to learn all the time. In the worst scenario, the services that you are providing are already online, and you will be out of job very soon, and you need to learn a new profession. So we are, in a way, becoming all sort of lifelong learners and spending more and more time in education and learning. Well, before I go deeper in this, I would like shortly go through the brief story of education. It will make us much easier to understand the conflict, the problems, the solutions. Even the short version of education, history of education goes as early as Stone Age, maybe even before, when people just become living together and get socialized. They made some meaningful sounds to communicate. They draw some paintings on the cave walls. Then the meaning sounds became a language, drawings became printing, and then become books, handwritten books. And these handwritten books were possessed by very few people who had the monopoly on knowledge by that times. Then come the next meaningful thing, the print, and the books were spread, and the monopoly of knowledge was weakened, but still held by quite very few people. Then come the massive communication means like newspaper, radio, television, which spread the knowledge even much. But the most meaningful thing was, of course, the invention of the internet. At the beginning, internet was in a mode that few entities, institutes would upload things, and some of the people would retrieve this information. And the next thing was when the communication improved and the computers became powerful, this was Web 1.0, then came Web 2.0, where people start uploading content. And then there was a huge step towards flooding of information. Then we had much more information than we needed, and not all of the information was the right information. So we need to learn how to know what is fake news and what is the real news. So we need the skills of becoming critical retrievers, critical checking of information, and then came all the Google search engines and so on. The next step was Web 3.0, where not only people connected with or communicated with each other, machines start communicating with each other, and then became semantic web, the web that machines start understanding the natural people language, which means that they were aware of the location, they could know where you are, they could retrieve information from mails, from websites, actually read text and retrieve you the right information. Well, this flood of information bring about change in paradigm in education. I mean, now we are in a stage that not necessarily the teacher has the monopoly for the knowledge. Since we are getting older and we are keep on learning on older ages, it's most probably that in the classroom you will find students that they are more older and has more knowledge than the teacher, but the teacher has knowledge on some specific thing. So the new paradigm and the new, let's say even in Europe, the Bologna process that started 2 decades ago, now is more putting the student in the center, and the role of the teacher is becoming more as a scaffolder, mentor, and helping the student to build knowledge. And we regard the knowledge as some individual, intimate process that the knowledge cannot be transferred as it is from one individual to another. You need to build in some internal process the knowledge inside the learner. And of course, there are many profiles of learners. There are learners that can stay in focus for a lecture, let's say 2 hours long, and some can lose focus after 5 or 6 minutes. There are students that prefer to learn in social. There are such that can learn only when they are alone. There are students that have more visual ability of learning. And the formal, traditional education system cannot address all these things. And we can now use technology and regard technology not as the cause for the problem, but also as part of the solution. And when we are talking of technology as solution, now what happens is that technology enables us to learn at our own pace, wherever we like, whenever we have the time, by using all the handheld laptop, all devices that enable us to learn anywhere, anytime. Other than this, there are a few modes of learning. I mean, especially the universities are now developing tools like MOOCs, which are massive open online courses that you can learn totally online, or hybrid learning tools like a flipped classroom. Does everybody knows what flipped classroom process is? In a few words, flipped classroom is, for example, I will give an example. You have an academic course of a semester, 14 classes. What you do is you can record all the lectures, you can put it on learning management system available on the internet to all students, and you put everything online, and you give the time to the students. Don't come to the classroom, learn and watch these lectures at your own time. Come to the classroom only for 4 meetings instead of 14 meetings. In these meetings, we can do some hands-on work, problem solving. we can do exams, deep learning, and this way you can preserve some of the resources. You don't need that much time of the teacher, you don't have the classrooms and so on. Okay, when we talk about all this, something is really changing, and I skipped it before. Now I have a few more moments. I want to talk about the internet. Internet actually is facilitating to connect all our brains in a way in parallel. I'm thinking in terms of computers because I like this, but just think of this web around wrapping all the global, all our planet with very fast connectivity means computers with huge computation power, unlimited storage, cloud services, and when you add to this also the human intelligence, we have very powerful tool that can take the humanity in terms of knowledge and new technologies where we couldn't imagine, let's say, some 10 or 20 years ago. To this, I would like to add also the social media. What happens now is that the younger generation already born in this technology. They are now used to communicate with each other using Facebook, using Twitter. They are more skilled, more used to learn from visual things like movies, YouTube, and so on. We must engage all these things inside our education system because maybe we are not that young and we are not familiar with these tools, but we need to think as the young students think because they are the next generation. The problem is that all these tools cannot be controlled. It's very hard to regulate this or manipulate these tools. So we need to engage these tools, but we need to be very careful. Already in academia, when we build new courses, we make some online content available, like in learning management systems. We are already engaging forums and chats and all the means that can facilitate the interaction between students and the teachers and students among them. So in a way, the whole learning process now, it's not from only manipulated by the teacher and the students, and now we have a network of learning where the students can interact with each other, and sometimes this learning from each other is even more powerful and meaningful from learning by the teacher. Now I would like to say a few words how all this impact the industry, the training, and the learning. In the framework of my work, I was, and I'm still it for the local coordinator of a project called Nano. It's a European project, and in this project, I told last year about it, we developed courses for industry and academia on nanotechnologies. And recently I held a lot of talks with representatives from Israeli industry, big companies like pharmaceutical company Teva, Intel, Tower Semiconductors, and I try to understand what are their needs. And in sort of brainstorming, we identified a few things that can help the industry. For example, some of the engineers in these industries goes to the universities to take courses even for degree as part of training at their workspace. What we did is that we tried to make a program where the students need to go to university to learn to use the flipped classroom paradigm or system. This way, the workers or employees won't need to spend a lot of time to travel 100 kilometers each way to take 2 hours a class a day and come back, so we can put the content online and implement this flipped classroom process so they can save a lot of time. It is a win-win situation either for the university or for the industry. Then we thought about building sort of yellow pages of leading scientists in Israel, in academia, that have the knowledge, can help the industry. So for example, if they had a problem in the industry and they want to see which scientist is available nearby in Israel and can help, so we are going to build sort of yellow pages that each scientist will give a 5 or 10 minutes lecture, recorded or not, and this will be indexed, available on the web, so they can consult and ask for help. As you see, we can use the technology in various ways, either if it is fully online learning, hybrid learning, and making an interaction with the industry, and even in the framework of this Nano project, we recorded in clean rooms a lot of process. And this process, even though they cannot replace the practical hands-on working, it can save a lot of time if students came ready after watching how things are done and what they are expected to do. Having this theoretical information beforehand can save a lot of time in these precious facilities, that the time is very important and very precious. Well, that is for now. Thank you for attention. Any questions?
I know we're running behind, so maybe we could do one quick question.
Thanks for your presentation. I think it's very, I really like this way to use technology to have access easily to information, to training. But are you not afraid that we miss the human being contact when you increase this technology? Because we are still human being and we need feeling, to hear, to touch, to smell. You are not afraid that we are going in the direction robotics? What are you thinking on that?
I'm afraid you are right, but the thing is, I'm not sure we can avoid this. I mean, if you would like to stay in the society where everybody is now familiar with all the technologies, you cannot allow yourself not to use your cell phone or not to have all the facilities that we have now at home for a smart home, smart TV, smart car. So what, you won't drive your car, or you won't? It's a really maybe not the best thing, but we need to deal with this situation. I have no any other solution other than we still will have our family and social life, but yet we need to have this technology and learn it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you again. Next, welcome